Welcome to the Champions of Life podcast, where three orange-blooded Tennessee alums discuss how there's always next year.
Here's my concern going into the season, Bobby and Lainey, is that who was the coach, offensive coordinator? He's the head coach down in Florida somewhere. Was great when
Golish?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have not recovered since he left.
We haven't.
So I'm worried that we're still going to have the same mediocre offense. We're going to have a great defense, probably, and they're going to keep us in game, but we won't be able to run up the amount of points and touchdowns we did. So I'm worried it's going to be a repeat of the last 2 or 3 years. Good season, but not great.
I agree. We also don't know who our center is yet, right? We don't have that locked in. Until our offensive line is decent and shows up, I'm going to be concerned about it. We don't know what the quarterback situation is.
And we don't have Dylan Sampson back there.
We don't have Sampson. We don't have receivers. You've got some good ones potentially, but they're untested, right? For the most part. Except for Brazel. Mike Matthews, maybe.
I'm even more worried now.
38 seconds in, I'm doubling down on my worried level.
8-4. That's going to be a good season. 8-4.
I agree with that. I wish I could say 9-3.
Hope they surprise us, but based on all those factors too, of course.
The good news is the SEC is fairly. Georgia's coming back with an untested quarterback as well. They're going to have a good defense. They're going to have athletes. Florida is a huge question mark. Billy probably should have gotten fired last year, but they didn't. They got a superstar quarterback, which we've seen this before. And then from there, it's like Alabama at their place. To me, is a toss-up. Milroe was probably better than people gave him credit for, and he probably bailed them out of a lot of bad situations.
Yeah.
So I think it's fairly open. I think all of those concerns are valid. As far the offensive line has plagued us for years. You got to get your tackles figured out. I think Dylan Sampson did the same for us that Milroe did for Bama and bailed us out of a ton of, not great situations. But based on the quarterbacks we've seen in the last, the last 4 eras of quarterbacks, I feel like these guys, they are capable of doing something that's adequate to win us football games just based on the offensive line. But I do think that there is a lot of concern that Golish was covering up a lot of our sins. I think I'll stop talking, but there's been a change in Heupel's coaching strategy over the last 3 years. When he came in, he was aggressive. He was a risk taker. We're going for it on 4th down. There's no hesitation in that man's eyes. It's rush to the line, punch it through.
Right.
And I don't know if his quarterback changed. Joe couldn't handle it, or Nico was too young to have the command of it, but where he's gone more conservative, but there's more deliberation on the sidelines. We're punting the ball more often. We're not going for 2.
And the speed getting back to the line is not there like it was. Mm-hmm. We had people on their heels.
You've lost a little bit of that competitive advantage. And I do think that some of the negative recruiting against Tennessee has been offensive linemen, elite offensive linemen don't want to play that offense because they don't want to be up and down. The defense doesn't want to be on the field that much because the offense is either going to go 3 and out or they're going to score, and you're back out on the field. You're getting exposed. You got more risk for bad tape getting out there for your pro level. I think that's been a negative recruiting tactic, and maybe he's been more concerned about that than he should be. But
I hadn't thought of that.
Those are good points.
What are you guys concerned about going into the season?
This year's going to be a redo of what we saw last year. Last year, our defense won games for us and Dylan Sampson. Defense, for the most part, is still there, but Sampson's not. Now, Bishop could be great. Peyton Lewis, who's the third string? Star? Anyway, I think it's going to be, our schedule is better, right? It's not as difficult as last year. But I still say we're losing to the main 3. Georgia, Florida, Alabama. And then we always lose one we shouldn't lose, right? So maybe that's Oklahoma. Maybe it's Vanderbilt.
Hopefully not Vanderbilt.
Yeah, hopefully not, because
Please,
Vandy's at
Vanderbilt.
home, right? So yeah, that would be terrible. That's where I'm at.
Until we beat Florida and Gainesville,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't have a lot of faith. Who was the kid that beat us on that awful Hail Mary 3 years ago? That quarterback that was like 40 years old.
Oh,
You know who I'm talking about.
Grant Mert was
No,
Mertz?
Mertz was last year. I guess this was Butch's last year. They beat us on that Hail Mary. Not Butch's last year. Maybe
Yeah, that's a long time.
Maybe it's Pruitt. But they were a horrible, horrible team, and the quarterback was a transfer, and they beat us on a Hail Mary, and we just played it awful. I mean, our guys were terrified of getting pass interference and just let them catch it. Which I think we should all have. The coaches should have like the ability to coach players to be like, hey, they're not going to call PI on a Hail Mary. You just got to, as long as you don't tackle them, just don't let them catch it.
Good point.
But
Felipe Franks.
Yeah.
He did have an arm on him. But yeah, they threw that bomb, and I was like, okay, well, we're not going to beat Florida anytime. 2017. And then even 2 years ago with Heupel's offense down there, we looked like we had never played football before.
That's right.
And I think that some of that is the night game. And I do think that that's why he is trying to get away a little bit from that hurry up offense, because that hurry up offense is extremely effective when you're in Neyland and everybody knows the goal. But when you're in the swamp or Death Valley, I think we lucked out with Hooker's year where we went to LSU and we got the noon kickoff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, those environments are just not, they're not going to help our offense when you're worried about timing and hand signals and calling audibles for receivers on routes that they're seeing. But because it's all basically an option tree for the receivers on a lot of that offense. And to your point, if the receivers are young and they're not comfortable in that offense and you don't have a Hyatt that can just run a post or a dig,
They're going to keep it simple.
It's complex if you're not aware. And that's why I think Cedric was so good. Cedric was extremely effective. And then Thornton last year, he's basically running Hyatt's route tree and got him drafted. So got them both drafted pretty high.
So you mentioned Butch a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to explain why we're calling this podcast Champions of Life?
Well, we made it. We're here in Knoxville, Tennessee. We are champions by default of life. We live in the great state of Tennessee in America. But, Butch he's got some real, PTSD for Tennessee fans. And so I think the man deserves a little bit of credit for giving us battered Vol syndrome. He's a great motivator and rah-rah guy. And I think it's a hard job to keep 19-year-old millionaires happy and unified and working as a team. And he was just trying to unite them and let them know they are champions of life because they're D1 athletes and getting to play a game for fun.
Wow, so you're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
He should have never said it. He should have never said it.
This is the conundrum or the plight of a Tennessee Vol fan, where we try to find moral victory because we can't win on the field or the court. We have to find something like, hey, if we lose, it's not all about winning and losing. These guys are going to do great in life. It's about good family, good friends, and making good grades, because football won't be here forever, or basketball. But this is what we do. We revert back to that. So we have something. There's so much pride in the Vol fan base. So that's why I think it hit home with, that's an awful thing to do, awful feeling to feel like that's all you have is moral victories, but not wins on where it really counts.
It's been rough. It's been a rough decade. So just to kind of wrap this one up, this first episode, do you want to share why are we doing this podcast, who we are, our connection to UT, just why we're fans, any of that background information?
Yeah, I was there 2002 to 2006. So there were some great mediocre years at UT. We had the Clausen brothers there mainly. Some good. So I remember driving all the way to with the Cotton Bowl, 16 hours away to watch us win. I think it was Rick. Was it Rick that won that year?
Yeah.
That was fun. There's some fun memories, but always wanting more for Tennessee, but falling short. A lot of hype. This is also one of the reasons why we picked this name. There's also so much hype as a Tennessee fan going into the season, but we fall short. So I'd rather go in, not ranked in the top 25, or maybe up in the 20s somewhere, 18 to 20, which I think we are this
I think
year.
we're 18, right?
This is great.
Perfect.
Okay. Now
Sweet
I'm
spot.
excited. Now I'm back.
Hey, did you say South Carolina's 13?
That's wonderful. Wonderful news. The more SEC teams that are in front of us, the better chance we have.
I'm with you, River.
I don't even know where I went, but it was a great year. 4 years, but Vol fan for life. Grew up seeing Tennessee win in a lot of different sports. Todd Helton era, Peyton Manning, T. Martin, and the Lady Vols were winning championships, seemed like every other year. So thought that was normal. And then by the time I got to UT, we were starting to be mediocre in most sports. So that's why I'm here, because I love Tennessee, and hopeful, like most fans, hopeful every year that this is the year. This might be the year. You never know.
I'm here. I've been working with Joe for over a decade, and we've got a lot of things in common. One of it is a love for Tennessee sports, and I feel like life is really short, and so we try to stay above the go Vols, how's the weather, stuff that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it is fun to have a distraction from normal everyday life. And so I love Tennessee sports. The first game I ever went to was 2001, right after 9/11. We played at LSU at home, and I didn't know what I was signing up for. And when the LSU fans were chanting LSU over the rest of the stadium chanting USA, I knew. I was like, okay, I'm on the right side of history. All these other fan bases are trash. Tennessee's the way to go. And so, seen a lot over the years, basketball and football, women's sports. I still, I'm just sticking with LSU. I still don't like Rohan Davey for beating us in the SEC championship when we could have gone to the national championship. I was a sophomore when we went to the SEC championship in 2007 against LSU, of all teams, and Ainge threw a pick six that is still just a dagger to the heart. And then you listen to LSU team, they're like, oh, we knew the play before they snapped the ball. So they walked into the end zone. We lost. Could have gone to the national championship that year too. Pat White and Slayton, West Virginia, they were going to go and they lost in the final game. Anyways, I'm not bitter. It's all the what ifs and what could have beens that keeps me engaged and makes it fun. But I was on campus from 2006 to 2010. So I had all the Bruce years, which was a blast, being in the mosh pit and the shot over Durant. And, I got to see Fulmer not end with all the grace in the world. And then Kiffin and Dooley during my time there. And what a whirlwind of competency levels. So the good and the bad, I feel like if you make it through all that, it's like you just got to ride it out.
Yeah. So I'm Lainey, and worked with Joe and Bobby for the last year or so. Honestly, don't remember the years I was at UT. I need to go back and figure that out. But I overlapped when y'all were there. Didn't know y'all, of course, back then. But yeah, we at work, we end up talking about Tennessee sports at least once a week, especially during football season, basketball season. So I wanted to do this podcast, just a quick recap of what's going on day to day, week to week with Tennessee. Long time. I know I'm East Tennessee native. You are too, Bobby, Joe as well. And so, yeah, we've all been Tennessee fans since birth, essentially. I don't remember the first game I went to. That's impressive. Your recall is really
You do.
top notch, Bobby. But yeah, bleed orange. Anytime Tennessee is on TV playing anything and watching it. So yeah, I think that's it for our first attempt at a podcast. You don't have anything else? Any parting thoughts?
I will say, I'm just going to double down on LSU. And I don't, for some reason, I don't know why, but it was the year that we were trying to get Butch fired. Like we wanted him to be, and I was at the LSU game where it like just dumped buckets and they kicked the ball off in the second half and nobody could see the ball. And LSU got the ball back and I was like, why did we do, what are the referee? But anyways, throughout the stands, everybody was texting that Gruden was at Calhoun's and he was signing a deal. And I sat there. We got beat by like 40 points, and I got absolutely drenched. And I was like, hopefully we're showing Gruden who's at Calhoun's right now. He can see this fan base getting our teeth kicked in the rain, and we're not going home. I'm doing my part. Horrible decision. Should have left. Should never come to. We couldn't give the tickets away. Anyways, LSU forever will be etched in my heart. It's something that I don't approve of.
But Bobby, we're still here. And that's why we're champions of life, right? So,
Life champions, baby.
And part of this is just coping as a golf fan. There's so much hope going in. The parting thought is just there's always next year. Even if we lose to Florida, there's always 2026, 2027.
absolutely.
So we will look forward to those years to come, even if it's not this year,
Yes.
because we do bleed orange and we do care about the Vols in all sports. We want them to do great, but then sometimes this podcast will talk about the tough things, the things that frustrate us a lot. So
Maybe
stay
weekly.
tuned. Yes.
That's fair.
Yep. All right. Stay tuned for episode 2 coming soon.